Russell Wilson is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. And by the time this video comes out, it would be yesterday since Russell Wilson had his introductory press conference. But today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 5 takeaways from the Russell Wilson press conference. He said some very interesting things about his future with the black and gold here that I want to discuss with you here on Steelers Talk. But before we get into that, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because this is the start of a new era. All right, Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky, all of them are gone. All right, Russell Wilson is now in. Okay, so this is the Russell Wilson era. It was the Big Ben era. Then it was a very dark day. Winter came, okay, with Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky. And now that winter is over, hopefully with the Russell Wilson era being ushered in. So make sure you click that subscribe button because we got you guys covered with daily, free, and extensive Steelers coverage right here on YouTube. We called the Kenny Pickett trade where he was going to go. We called that he would go to Philly, and we called Russell Wilson to the Steelers a month before it happened. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now, and let's get into the presser takeaways here. Number 1 on my list is that Russ is focused on himself. He's not worried about any of the quarterbacks that are going to be in the room. He's not worried about Justin Fields. He's not worried about Ryan Tannehill. He's not worried about a rookie coming in. And he's definitely not worried about Kenny Pickett because he's no longer here. He said in his press conference that what he's focused on is being the best version of himself and not necessarily about the role that Mike Tomlin slates for him with this team. Now, I think Russ definitely knows in his mind he's going to be the starter for this team heading into next season. But I like this approach from Russell Wilson. He's always taken this approach where it's very similar to Tom Brady in this way. And by the way, no, I'm not comparing Russell Wilson to Tom Brady. Relax at home. But they have a similar approach to the game where they're going to take every single day and make the most of it, and they're going to work their ass off to try to win a championship for whatever team they're on. And don't get it twisted, guys, whether they trade for Justin Fields or if they sign Ryan Tannehill or they make any move whatsoever, Russell Wilson will be the Week 1 starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, whether you like it or not. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Russell Wilson move work out for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think this warrants a second contract for Russell Wilson based on how it goes this year? Let me know down there in the comments section. Give me a yes or a no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or a no down there in the comments. All right, so now let's get into my second takeaway from this presser, which is that Russell Wilson is a long-term answer at the quarterback position, or at least the Steelers view him in that way. And Russell Wilson certainly feels like he could still be a quarterback in this league for the next 5 to 7 years. He said so in the press conference. And honestly, guys, with the way he takes care of his body, I absolutely believe he can do this. We've seen guys like Tom Brady, we've seen guys like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees play well into their 40s and still play good football. And there's nobody that works on their body and works on their health and all these different things and training than Russell Wilson does, and both from a physical and mental standpoint. So in my opinion, the body is going to hold up for Russell Wilson. The big question is the game going to hold up? And I have a feeling it absolutely will. And if he works out here in Pittsburgh and he plays well, and I do expect him to, because I think it's a perfect fit. I still think he's a good quarterback. He's got a good surrounding cast, whole 9 yards. He's going to be here for a while. I know he's on a 1-year deal, but it's going to be a lot like Baker Mayfield last year where he had a 1-year rental, prove-it deal. He proved himself, and then he got a big contract. I think it's going to be a similar thing here with Russell because nobody takes care of their body better than Russell Wilson. We know this. It's well documented how hard this guy works, and he's only 35 years old. Okay, the Atlanta Falcons just paid Kirk Cousins, who's the same age, off of a torn Achilles, a 4-year contract with a ton of money guaranteed. All right, so let's not pretend that Russell Wilson is this old, washed quarterback, and then Kirk Cousins, who's the same age as him, is just getting started with a new team. All right, Russell Wilson is the long-term answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers with this roster right now. So if you're saying, man, we got to draft a quarterback in round 1, or, oh, we got to go get Justin Fields to have an option for the future, no, he's going to be the quarterback here for a long time, unless he stinks it up this year, in which they'll address it in 2025. So coming up here, more takeaways from the Russell Wilson introductory press conference to cover today. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is just heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments during March Madness. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. How does it work, you ask? Well, here's how you play. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their prize picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So download the Prize Picks app today or go to prizepicks.com/CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. You can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. And then another thing that I want to clear up here, and something I see on Twitter and all these different things, is that people say Russell Wilson's not a culture fit with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could not disagree with this more, man. If you just listen to Russell Wilson speak at the podium yesterday or today, depending on when you're watching this, he sounds just like Mike Tomlin, man. He talks in a way that's super energetic, optimistic about the future, team-oriented, and focused on what the controllables are. All of those are things that Mike Tomlin does, and you can tell that Mike Tomlin sees Russell Wilson as kind of his proxy in the locker room, his voice in the locker room. And that takes me to my fourth takeaway here, is that he is the face of this team, and he is going to be the guy in the locker room. For the last several years, pretty much his entire career, it's been Cam Hayward, because Big Ben Roethlisberger wasn't really one of those guys that was like, super rah-rah, talkative, super vocal leader in the locker room. He wasn't really interested in that. And then Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky weren't all that great at that part of the game either. Pickett was a little bit better. But Russell Wilson is one of the best locker room leaders in the National Football League. He has an incredible ability to instill belief in the players around him. And as much as I love Cam Hayward and as much as he deserves the command of the respect in the locker room that he has earned, Russell Wilson is the quarterback, and he is going to be the fearless leader of the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into 2024. Cam's still going to have a leadership role, don't get me wrong, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But, man, Russell Wilson, when it comes to getting everybody rallied up, it's going to be Russell Wilson ahead of the charge, and he's going to be leading the troops into battle. And then the final one here is let's ride, because I am so excited and optimistic about Russell Wilson and his fit with Arthur Smith, the offense, and the players that are already here and the players they're going to add throughout the rest of free agency and the draft. Now, I show you these numbers here, not to say that Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes. Any functioning human with a brain can tell you that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. But the fact that you can get a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who had a better passer rating than him last year, a better interception percentage last year, a better touchdown percentage than him last year, and was in the same range in adjusted completion percentage and yards per attempt. If you're getting that quarterback on the right for the price that you're getting him, $1.21 million, that is a hell of a steal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, it is a much needed upgrade at the quarterback position compared to what they had last year in Kenny Pickett. Now, you can certainly say, Pickett was going to improve with Arthur Smith in his first year in that system, his third year in the league, yada, yada, yada. But listen, man, I think Russell Wilson is going to improve from his numbers last season. He's going to have better weapons to work with. I think the offensive play caller and that system fits his skill set better. So listen, man, I think Russell Wilson's numbers last year were really good, and I think they're going to be even better next year with Arthur Smith, with all the support he's going to have here in Pittsburgh. And for me, he really does check all the boxes. The three things that I want in the starting quarterback for the Steelers to replace Kenny Pickett, I've been saying it all offseason. I want somebody that can make plays out of structure and throw the ball down the field. Check that. He's one of the best out-of-structure playmakers in league history with an amazing deep ball. Number two, I want somebody that could protect the football like Kenny Pickett did last year. Big reason why they won so many games with him is because he protected the football. Russell Wilson has one of the lowest interception percentages in league history. He's only had above 11 interceptions once in his career. And then somebody that can perform in the clutch and in the postseason. He's got 16 playoff games under his belt, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. He nearly won the second one as well. One of the most clutch performers in history, top 10 and fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives in the history of the game. This checks all the boxes to me, man, and especially when he put it at a $1.2 million price tag. That's just the cherry on top, and I think it's one of the best value signings in the history of the National Football League. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now, by the way, if you're pumped up for the first year of the Russell Wilson era here in Pittsburgh. So before I go, I want to talk Patrick Queen, and Queenie was in Pittsburgh today along with Russ and DeShon Elliott to sign his contract and to address the media. And he told the media today that he is, in fact, going to be wearing number 6. Art Rooney actually gave a linebacker Number 6, he caved, baby. I mean, you just got to chip away, man. Eventually, we're going to get that number 0 on somebody's jersey for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. And Queen, appreciate you, man. Trailblazer for this team. Getting the single digits for the linebackers. You got to love it. He's going to be looking sick in that 6 jersey for the Pittsburgh Steelers, replacing Presley Harvin III, who did not do that number justice. All right, now let me know down there in the comments section. Steelers could still make some more moves. We know they need a wide receiver. We know they need a tackle. We know they need a center. Could use another corner. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What NFL free agent do you want the Steelers to sign next? You want Tyler Boyd, Tyron Smith, somebody else? Let me know down there in the comments section who you're targeting if you're GM Omar Khan. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for extensive, in-depth, and free Steelers coverage every single day here on YouTube.